get so mad, there's no controlling me. My thoughts get so bad, I'm like, oh God, here goes. I lost all feeling from my head to my toes. You said some shit that I can't let go, so just stay tuned for the rest of the show.
Anthony, thank you so much for joining me today. It's an absolute pleasure to have a one-on-one conversation with you. The last time we spoke was in November, so some time has passed since then. Can I get you to introduce yourself to everybody?
Hello, I'm Anthony DeVergillo. I am a 29-year-old optimist with a rare disease. I live with Duchenne Muscular Dystrophy. It's a muscle weakening disease. That's why I'm in a wheelchair and I use a non-invasive ventilator. And I recently got a feeding tube to allow me to get the nutrition I need. I work part-time at Amicus Therapeutics, which is a rare disease pharmaceutical company based in Philadelphia. And I help manage communications with the employees. And in my personal life, I've been striving to make sure that the world is as inclusive as it can be for people with disabilities, and using technology to make that happen.
Fantastic. And I think just the brief conversation we had last time, your passion and energy and your resilience struck me. And I was so keen to carry on that conversation with you and see what I can do in terms of support for IMCCA as well, in whichever small way that I can. And I know with IMCCA, there are the 5 pillars, right? Can you talk us through the 5 pillars for employers?
The initiative that I started at IMCCA, which is the Inclusion Initiative, was really a focus on inclusivity for people with disabilities in the communication and technology industry that IMCCA represents. And I really started it when I realized that the world had really opened up since the pandemic, and I wanted to make sure that that inclusivity for people with disabilities through technology stayed as important as it was in the beginning. That's why we had a fireside chat with the IMCCA called Virtual is Still Vital. And that was all about how people with disabilities like me who cannot travel and people around the world who care for someone with disability or can't afford to travel or are too far away from the location to travel. Want to make sure that everybody has a seat at the table and is able to participate in virtual events. And I put together a set of 5 pillars and I called it the Inclusion STACC. And I called it Inclusion STACC because a lot of big tech companies will put a big focus on their technology stack. But for me, I think what's more important than the technology they produce is the people that they create it for, the consumers, but also the people that work at their company. So I created the Inclusion STACC as the second stack of equal importance. And the 5 pillars are stories, technology, accessibility, careers, and connection.
Love it.
Now for me, stories is very important because, like, I always write down my story and share it with people because I want people to understand my disability, to understand what I go through, and to not be afraid of the unknown. And I also want people to hear my story and realize they go through a lot of the same struggles, and they have a lot of the same skills and abilities that I do. A lot of the same wants and needs, that really we're all human. And I think it's important for people within a company to be able to talk about their disability or some aspect of diversity or something they've gone through or share their experience. Because that really, like, they might have experience that will bring your product forward, or they might have experience that or expertise that might lead well to a employee resource group, or might have experience that could lead to a more inclusive business decision in the future. I think it's important to share the stories of your consumers because, like, their stories should help drive the future of your products. I guess it's important to share stories of your consumers because some of them might have a disability or rare disease, and your product might help them do something that you never thought it could do. And that really leads into the next pillar, which is technology. And for me, like, technology is what allows me to live my life and have the high quality of life that I currently have. My ventilator, my wheelchair, all the equipment that I use throughout the day, respiratory equipment, and especially like my computer and my desk setup, and really like the software that I have on my computer that allows me to do my job. It's important for business leaders in a company to make sure that they're providing the technology that and software that their employees need to do their job, but also maybe find ways to use your technology to solve a problem you didn't even know existed for someone with disability.
Yeah.
And you really want to include people with disabilities or rare disease and really include a diverse group of people in your testing phase to make sure that it works the way it should be for everybody, but also there might be a way to make a small improvement that can make a major difference in someone's life. Like for me, I use a poly webcam, and I was amazed to see that the webcam not only did HD video, but it also canceled out the noise of my ventilator and allowed me to communicate. And that really leads into the next pillar of accessibility because the ability of me to communicate without being interrupted by the sound of my ventilator, that was like a night and day difference for me because I've always had people saying, "Oh, what did you say?" or "Sorry, I couldn't understand you."
Yes.
But now that I use this one piece of technology, my communication accessibility has expanded. And I no longer have to worry about like muting myself after every time I'm done talking. I can just keep my mic on and just be part of the conversation like everyone else. So no one really thought that the webcam technology would be used in such a way to help someone be able to communicate better, but it was. And I think it's important to make sure you have that accessibility technology for your employees, but also make sure that everything that you create is accessible for everyone. Next pillar is careers, and careers focuses on providing people with disabilities the opportunity to get a career that they love by giving them, like you said, giving them a chance and kind of looking past their disability and looking at their abilities and their skills. But also, like, think about how the technology you create for your consumers, how it might help them be more connected in their career. It might help them get a career even though they're at home. Like there are people that work at the front desk, like that could be someone with disability who works from home and is there virtually, but I think we gotta make sure that we use our technology to open doors for people with disabilities. to make sure that our technology helps them get the opportunity they have been striving for. And probably like me, they've been striving for it for years. And then the final thing is connection. I think a big part of that, like in my career at Amicus, is all about connecting employees socially, and really giving them an opportunity to get to meet each other, get to socialize and learn from each other. I think that's very important to not just have people do work at work, but also give them an opportunity to take a break and meet each other and learn from each other, because that will allow them to grow as a team and also allow the company culture to grow as well. And then also think about it, try to grow those connections within your community of consumers. Like I said, like create a community where people that are like power users have ways for them to socialize and find new ways to use their technology. But I've actually found that the connection part is something that Microsoft does really well. I'm actually a Microsoft Most Valued Professional. I was granted the award earlier this year, and what they do is they have 3,000 MVPs around the globe that will share their expertise and share their feedback on the technology and help you make it better. I think it's very important to not just give the technology to consumers and
Yes,
have clients, but also make sure that your clients are part of the community as well.
absolutely.
Because the more people you include in the community, the more your technology can help others.
I absolutely love that. I love the inclusivity stack.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.